Well, it looks like Marvel Studios is not going to be giving us another Avengers movie for quite some time after Avengers Secret Wars. Now, going into this new universe after Avengers Secret Wars is basically what we expect to be the peak of Marvel. We finally have a universe where almost every character, practically every character, can exist within the same universe. The X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Spider-Man, everyone. So why is Marvel Studios deciding not to do an Avengers film for quite some time? Well, fortunately for us, you might hear this and you might think it's bad, but fortunately for us, it looks like Marvel Studios does have a plan, and I actually think it makes a lot of sense. So we're going to break down that plan in this video and talk about what other projects and teams to expect in the next chapter of Marvel Studios after Avengers Secret Wars. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today. Like I mentioned, I think this will be good because Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, has already confirmed they will indeed eventually recast the Avengers, specifically Iron Man and Captain America. Now, he just used those two as an example, but I do believe he's going to recast basically the OG Avengers team. So at some point in time, we will get a new Avengers team. And this time, it's not going to be a combination of the Thunderbolts / New Avengers with some old legacy characters and some new characters all thrown together. No, it's going to start from the ground up, which I think is great. So it'll essentially be a phase one that we got from Marvel with the new Avengers. However, they have to establish some things first. And we already know a handful of projects that Marvel Studios is planning on doing in phase 7, starting with the X-Men. So what Marvel Studios wants to do at first is ignore the Avengers for a little bit. I do hope we get some teases, not cameos or anything like that, but when the X-Men are in the X-Mansion, maybe on a TV in the background, it says something about Tony Stark or Steve Rogers. You just see the name, right? Something that says, hey, just a reminder, although we're not focusing on the Avengers right now, the characters do exist and we'll introduce them later. That's what I hope they do. So we're going to focus on the X-Men first because they're a team and there's a lot that comes with the X-Men, really just a lot. In fact, we might get 2 X-Men movies before we get an Avengers movie, but obviously the new X-Men team has to come into play. I do believe Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. I think she'll be a part of this new X-Men team since she is also going to be in Secret Wars, and they have her for another movie planned after Secret Wars, which is going to be the X-Men movie. So we're going to get all the new characters for the X-Men. They're going to introduce them and they're going to give us a pretty good story. And that story might tie into some other stories and other teams as well in phase 7. But then we have the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four 2 is already confirmed. Now, I do think we have some issues here, maybe with Doom, if it's not Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom. So whatever the Fantastic Four 2 establishes, I think they have to make it pretty clear what's going on with Doctor Doom. And I think connecting Doctor Doom to the Fantastic Four project would be a good way to do that, because after Secret Wars, we're not going to really know what's going on. We know the same Fantastic Four team is transferring over to the new MCU, but what about Doom? That relationship with Doom and Reed needs to be there. So how they're going to do that, unsure, but I think the Fantastic Four 2 is a great way to address that. And now that it's a new universe, we're going to have a new Silver Surfer, a new Galactus, so they can come back as well in the future. So that should be pretty good. Now, Doctor Strange 3, that's one that should be coming as well. And I've talked about this before. I do think Doctor Strange 3 is going to be an incredibly important movie, because I think in the new universe, maybe a lot of people don't remember what happened before Secret Wars, but I do believe there's going to be a handful of people that do remember. I think Doctor Strange is going to be one of those people, and it makes sense. So wherever he is, whether that be the Sanctum or he has a little base of his own, if he's not the Sorcerer Supreme, he kind of has something that helps him remember everything that happened before. And so when we visit Doctor Strange, we can see some maybe ancient relics of the previous universe. That way it's not truly erased, because we don't want it truly erased, right? We don't want everything that happened between phase 1 and, well, phase 6 to be erased. Well, maybe we want some things to be erased, but that's what they're doing after Secret Wars. That's what they're doing with phase 7. They're going to erase the things that didn't work. We're going to use Secret Invasion. And they're going to keep some things that do work, like the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man, which we'll get to in just a bit. But another one is Black Panther 3. This is an interesting one because according to reports and according to leaked concept art photo that we have seen, we're getting a new Black Panther in Avengers Secret Wars, possibly even before that in Avengers Doomsday. We're unsure exactly when he comes, but it does look like a new one is coming. Now, it does seem like it's going to be a multiversal variant, but if that Black Panther survives the reboot, we will have a new Black Panther in the MCU. And if the universe kind of works the way that everyone thinks it's going to work, it's basically going to be as if that Black Panther was the Black Panther of that universe the entire time. So we should have a new T'Challa, a new Black Panther in the MCU, and maybe Doom can relate to Black Panther as well because of vibranium. There's a lot of things they can do. There's a lot of things I hope they can do, hope they will do, but we know that these projects are coming. And then Deadpool 4. This one's really interesting because I think this might be kind of a project that takes place outside of the main story of the MCU. Deadpool and Wolverine was a great movie to really kind of show us what's coming for the multiverse, but Ryan Reynolds has already said he's working on a Deadpool 4. It's going to be an ensemble film, so maybe some X-Men get involved. Maybe it's the X-Force. Who knows? I did see some rumors that TJ Miller said that he's working on Deadpool, that Ryan Reynolds is working on Deadpool 4, and it's great. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe what he said because based on what we know, Ryan does not like TJ Miller, so there's no way he would know about a Deadpool 4. He wasn't even in the last movie when everybody else returned, even though it was for a small part. Everybody returned but him. So I don't believe that report. I do believe it's going to be awesome, and Ryan Reynolds himself has confirmed Deadpool 4 is coming, so I don't doubt that. I just doubt that TJ Miller has heard anything about it. A lot of people are going to be really excited about this one, myself included. The Midnight Suns. This is confirmed already. Blade looks like we're not getting the solo Blade movie, but he's being pushed into the Midnight Suns, which was always going to be the case, but his debut is being pushed to the Midnight Suns, not a solo Blade movie. But we should get some really cool characters. I know people have been asking about Moon Knight Season 2. Perhaps we could get Moon Knight as a part of the Midnight Suns. I'd actually be pretty upset if we didn't. And perhaps that could lead to a Moon Knight Season 2 in the new universe. Fingers crossed. Plus Ghost Rider, you know, all of the awesome characters coming from the Midnight Suns. Can't wait. The next one is pretty cool too. The Defenders. Right? So the report actually tells us Marvel's Phase 7 will not feature a flagship Avengers movie. Instead, the focus will reportedly shift toward expanding the universe through specialized team projects. This new phase is set to highlight the Fantastic Four, X-Men, and the supernatural Midnight Suns, while also bringing back street-level favorites like the Defenders, with the inclusion of younger teams like the Champions and the Strange Academy show that was supposed to happen. So the Defenders are partially coming back right now in Daredevil Born Again. Jessica Jones is back. We've heard a lot of rumors that Iron Fist might come back. Luke Cage might come back. It seems like eventually, maybe in Daredevil Born Again Season 3, everybody from the Defenders will be back. We'll have to wait and see. It's not confirmed, but that is seemingly what is going to happen. Plus, now we'll go into Spider-Man. So we're talking about Spider-Man and also Spider-Man 5, which could be the same thing or it could be different. We've heard that there's going to be basically a big street level crossover film with the Defenders, with Spider-Man, who knows who else, Punisher thrown in there, you know, I'm sure since he's in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and they're going to take on Kingpin and some other villains as well. I don't know if that's going to happen in Spider-Man 5 after Brand New Day, or if that's going to be a film of its own, or if it's going to be like a Disney Plus show, but that's what we're hearing is going to happen. So the Defenders and Spider-Man, we know Spider-Man's making it past the soft reboot of the MCU. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Like the street level side, it's going to be really cool. Then the cosmic side and Nova. Nova, it seems like, I don't know if they've got the actor and they filmed it already, but Brad Winderbaum, the president of Marvel Television, has already said, yeah, they're working on it. It's in development. It seems like it has been pushed back because of the whole Robert Downey Jr. appearing as Dr. Doom now, and them getting rid of Kang. Plans obviously change. We understand that. But it seems like Nova is one of those very specific projects that they knew that they were going to make happen. They started to make it happen. but just because everything happened the way it did, they had to delay it a little bit, but they're going to come back to it. And the cosmic side is something that Kevin Feige said he really wants to explore in the MCU. So Nova's coming, and reportedly with Nova, we're supposed to get the Annihilation Wave as well. So Annihilus, which would be pretty dang crazy. An incredible villain that I hope they do well. And then, like was mentioned in the post, the Champions / the Young Avengers and Strange Academy. Strange Academy was another project that was in active development at Marvel Studios that they unfortunately had to delay just because of everything that happened. The Young Avengers, they were developing a Young Avengers or Champions project, but it doesn't seem like they really canceled what they were doing, but instead they shifted or they moved their story. Rather than doing a Disney Plus series, they actually put the story inside of Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. And from what we have heard, they actually have a pretty big role to play in Avengers Secret Wars, but after, they're probably going to be a team so Marvel and Disney can go after kind of the younger audience as well. I mean, they see how good Spidey and Friends and everything does as well. To have a little bit of a younger team, well, one, they just exist in Marvel, so they should exist in the MCU. It's really cool. They've set it up in a really good way. But two, it could really appeal to the younger audience very well. So that's what we know is coming. After all of this, and like I mentioned, maybe another X-Men film after, they do the first one as well. After all of this, after they establish these characters, then they can introduce the Avengers, because that's what they need to do here. They need to establish kind of everyone else, right? Doctor Strange 3, I think, is going to really be about what the new universe is. Black Panther obviously gives us a new Black Panther. The Midnight Suns is a bunch of new people, a part of that team. The Defender / SpiderMan, a bunch of new people returning. Nova's a new person. The Champion's a new team. They're basically establishing new people because we already know who the Avengers are. Right? Granted, it's going to be new people, and I'm sure they'll do different takes on the characters, right? Like little different take on Tony Stark and Captain America. There's obviously key parts of them that you have to keep the same, but they're going to do a little bit of a different spin. Hopefully we like the actors who they choose to play all of these characters, but eventually we will get the OG Avengers. And when I say the OG Avengers, I simply mean, like, I think we're going to get Iron Man, Captain America. Maybe they go comic route and they give us like the Wasp and Ant-Man as a part of the OG Avengers here in the MCU. Who knows? There's some really cool things that they could do with it, and they should introduce them character by character and build them up like they did at the start of the Infinity Saga. But they're coming after all of this happens. That way, when it is time for the Avengers, we basically know what's happening. We know who the Avengers are, even though they're a little bit new and played by new characters, but we know who they are. And that way, when they come, we don't have to really get refamiliarized with them, but we know everybody else already, and we're ready for a big team up. We're ready for a massive movie. We're ready for an Avengers versus the X-Men film. We're ready for an Axe movie, Avengers X-Men Eternals movie. And we have heard that that is something Marvel really wants to do. So for those who have been wondering, hey, where's the news about the Eternals? That's what we've heard about the Eternals. We haven't heard they're going to do an Eternals 2, but an an Axe project, Avengers X-Men Eternals movie, is being considered right now by Marvel Studios. So that could be our first really big event that happens in the next part of the MCU after Avengers Secret Wars. But I do like this plan because I do think everybody at this point in time knows who the Avengers are, and to really get into these new characters is really important at first. And then we can finally have this universe that has everyone together. And that's what I am most excited for. So I think when we get there, that's going to be peak Marvel, peak MCU, which sounds weird because we've had a lot of really peak moments. And I think we're getting some more peak moments going into Spider-Man Brand New Day, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. But we've never had the universe where really everybody can exist from the start. Not coming in at the end, but from the start. So I'm pumped. Let me know how pumped you are, or if you're not, in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Avengers, Doomsday, Secret Wars, Marvel Phase 7, Spider-Man Brand New Day, or just Marvel news in general. And you can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.